Paul Pogba has been in absolutely sensational form for United in the last 4, 5, 6 games. Since his return from injury, United have been on the up. And I was actually going to do a video on Pogba today and his resurgence in form, look into the whys and the hows. But instead, I'm going to take a look at his interview on Sky Sports because it's a bit of an explosive interview. I've covered everything that happened between Pogba and Mourinho in real detail on this channel over the years. And in this interview with Laura Woods ahead of United's game against Burnley this weekend, Pogba sort of lifts the lid on his relationship with Mourinho, on his relationship with Solskjaer, how it's different, why it's different. So what I want to do in this video is react to that interview. Take a look at what Pogba had to say. And it's a good interview. And I'll be honest, look, so many of us, me in particular, have criticised Pogba for being silent over the years in situations where I think he could have spoken up. He's spoken up here. And I like what he's had to say. Make sure you subscribe to United People's TV if you're new. But let's take a look at exactly what Paul Pogba had to say on Mourinho and Solskjaer and everything in between. And where else can you start apart from Mourinho's reaction to United's 3-1 win against Spurs? This is what Pogba had to say on Mourinho commenting about Solskjaer's dad skills, about Son, about everything. This is what Pogba had to say.
I didn't see, to be honest. I don't know what happened. I'm sure Mourinho put something or said something.
You can't help but enjoy these little smiles that come out this whole interview. I'm sorry, I had to point that out.
That would the people speak. That's what he does. And we got the result that we wanted. Just all he knows it, and we enjoy that. We enjoy that moment. Because we know how he's a Mourinho, and we know what he likes. And we don't need this. We just focus on us. And we won the game. He lost the game, and he doesn't want to speak about the game. He wants to speak about the dad of someone. That's what he does. And everybody knows him. It's very Mourinho.
That laugh at the end, man. Pogba's been waiting a long time, I think, to speak like this. A long time to feel comfortable enough at United to speak like this about Mourinho, because it wasn't a pretty situation what happened with him and Mourinho. Everything that happened, then Pogba getting the armband and then Pogba getting taken out, forced out of the team. As a fan, you were forced to choose between the manager and the player, and the immediate natural thing to do is to back your manager, because ultimately no player is bigger than the club. As it's transpired, maybe that was the wrong thing to do. But at the time, I don't really think fans have much of a choice. And Pogba was cast aside. Pogba was vilified as the villain. And ultimately, he wasn't. And well, we all knew that Mourinho was the ultimate villain, but he was your manager, so he had to stand by your manager at that point. But you can see how much Pogba's enjoying this moment. Like, he's been waiting a long time, I think, to give an interview like this. And fair fucks to him for it. I think he should enjoy and revel in every single moment. And that is what Mourinho does. You know, he's a siege mentality manager. It was part of what made Fergie brilliant as well, in that Fergie was amazingly good at diverting attention away from the players. After bad performances, after bad results, he would force the media attention back on him to ease the pressure on the players. And Mourinho, when it works, that's what he does. But he's also very capable of throwing players under the bus. But just to see Pogba revel in it that much, it shows a couple of things. First of all, how much he's held this in and sort of tried to stay professional about Mourinho. Because as soon as Mourinho left, Pogba could have given an interview and said, he's an absolute dick, here's 9 examples. But he didn't. He chose not to. It wouldn't have helped him, and I suppose it wouldn't have helped his image to do that. But it also shows that he's really happy at United right now. Happy enough to do an interview like this. And I did a video a couple of months ago saying that Pogba's got to go in the summer. And I would definitely say my opinion has changed. And you can't have a go at anybody for a changed opinion in football. Because, let's be honest, 99% of us would have sold Luke Shaw 18 months ago and not even batted an eyelid. Now, nobody will take him out of our team. Players can change. Players can adapt. Players can change under different managers. And that's exactly what's happened to Pogba. And the Pogba we're seeing right now is world class, truly world class. and he wouldn't let him out of this team at all. He seemed happy, genuinely happy, and he wants to play for United. And it makes a big, big difference. But just seeing this interview is fantastic. And as well as speaking about the fallout to the Spurs game and Mourinho's reaction, Pogba also talked about his actual relationship with Mourinho and how different it is with Solskjaer. And this is what he had to say.
I think both wants to win, obviously. Both want to win. And what I have now with Oli is different because he wouldn't go against the players. He wouldn't go against the players. Maybe doesn't put them, or it's not like you put them on the side and they don't exist anymore. And I think that's the difference between Mourinho and Oli.
I mean, everybody knew this was the case, but it's still interesting to hear Pogba speak about it. That I told you, it's that siege mentality. When you're with Mourinho and it works, Porto, Inter, Chelsea, Real Madrid, when it works, you become an almost unstoppable force. Just a brick wall moving forward, and you're with it. But as soon as you take a couple of bricks out and the holes start to appear, that's when Mourinho starts casting players to the side, starts saying, you're the problem, not me, you're the problem. And it either works or it doesn't. And Pogba was a player who clearly it just didn't work with at any point at United. I say that's a lie, because in 2017, remember at the start when Pogba was there, we won the Europa League, you saw how happy it was at that. I remember that picture with Mourinho and Pogba after the Europa League final against Ajax, where I genuinely thought, this could be the start of something, you know. This really could be the start of something. It felt good, it felt right. But you were always worried that it was going to collapse because it's Mourinho and you know what happens. And ultimately we were proved correct. But it's obvious that Pogba disagreed massively with Mourinho's style of management. And that's why they clashed so much.
Because once I had a great relationship with Mourinho, everybody see that, and the next day you don't know what happened. And that's the strange thing that I had with Mourinho. And I cannot explain to you because even me, I don't know.
And Pogba there speaking about how he doesn't really understand why his relationship with Mourinho broke down. I think that's probably him just being, well, he's just avoiding that. Because, as I said, to speak about something like that would be even more explosive than what he's spoken about here. And that's something that he's going to keep close to his chest. Maybe we won't see the same reaction because Mourinho will react to this interview from Pogba. He will have plenty to say about it this weekend. Maybe I'll do a video on that and Mourinho's reaction to it too. But it really was a damn shame to see that break down, that relationship, because that team we had there, it was a huge, massive, literally a physically huge team that Mourinho built, and we won the League Cup, we won the Europa League. He is a winner. Mourinho was a serial winner. And it could have been the start of something great. But it broke down. It really, really broke down. It broke down spectacularly. And it was, I told you, it was a shame to see. But the reason I'm really enjoying this interview from Pogba so much is because Pogba, as I said, is a player who stayed very, very silent for so long about so many things, but I've really wanted him to speak out about it. And to hear him speak out about this with Mourinho and compare it to Solskjaer, and that's why it's working so well, I think, at Solskjaer, because the players are behind him. Instead of being like disciplined into formation and regimented like you are under Mourinho, the players are walking into position. They're happy to be where Solskjaer is asking them to be rather than telling them to be. It's a softer approach to management, and a lot of you might disagree and feel that's the wrong thing to do in certain situations. But with big egos in football, there's sometimes you've got to be more delicate in certain situations, and it's clearly working with Solskjaer. I don't think we've got the quality in certain areas to really get to that top City, well, not Liverpool level anymore. They're absolutely worst champions to have ever been in the Premier League, surely. But it's working at United. And Pogba right now, that Pogba performance against Spurs, even the Pogba performance against Granada, he's just playing like Pogba, the Pogba who won the World Cup. And that's the Pogba we've always wanted to see. But Pogba goes into a little bit more detail as well. And in this bit, he talks about Solskjaer's style of management, and also points towards Luke Shaw as an example of how things can change under different managers.
I guess maybe a bit close to the people, but every coach has their own way to coach, not their own way to deal with the players, and you have to adapt. As a player, you have to adapt sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't suit you. Sometimes it does suit you. So Luke is Oli obviously helped him a lot. It was a difficult season when with Luke, with Mourinho, and it just proved that he has the quality that he always had and the trust of the manager.
And that's it in a nutshell, because you do have to adapt. Fergie was the king, and then Moyes came in, and the players were like, what is going on here? And the players failed to adapt just as much as Moyes failed to adapt to the players. Well, let's be honest, it was all Moyes' fault. But every manager comes in, and it's going to be a different style of management. And from Mourinho to Solskjaer, it's like going from the extreme heat to the extreme cold, or the other way around. It's the two polar opposites of management styles. And it took a while for Solskjaer. Actually, didn't at the start. It was like Grandad coming home. For 3 months, it was sensational. Everyone was like, "This is happiness. This is bliss." And then Solskjaer's shortcomings at that point as a manager got exposed. Certainly after Woodward gave his contract to him too early. But just look at how happy Paul Pogba is. The laughs, the looks, the subtle body language that you can see in this interview is from a man who is extremely comfortable in his position as one of United's main men right now. He wants to be at United. Remember, he came here as an academy player. Yes, he left and that was messy, X, Y, Z, but he's back and he's been back for a while. But we've still, as a fan, you sit there with Paul Pogba and you go, you're that much better than we're seeing. But the Pogba we're seeing right now is that level of Pogba that we want to see every single week. And if United can hold on to Paul Pogba, and it looks, look, I'll be honest, by the looks of Paul Pogba's body language, his mannerisms, his smile, I think he'll sign a new contract. I'm not sure. Let me know whether you think he will, but judging by this interview, judging by what we're seeing from Paul Pogba in the last couple of months, he looks very, very happy. But what United have to do now is build on that happiness, build on Bruno Fernandes and Pogba, and sign that dominant defensive midfielder. Because if you build a 4-3-3 formation with that dominant defensive midfielder, with Pogba and Bruno in front of them, that's going to be one of the best midfields in world football. Simple as that. And that's how good United could be in midfield next year. And I'm really happy for Pogba. I really am. There's so much that I've been frustrated with as a fan. Watching Pogba play over the years, I'm thinking, you could do so much better. Your attitude's wrong. But I'll hold my hands up and say that I've completely backed Mourinho through that whole thing, because I don't like seeing players hold United to ransom at any point. And I've always, that's probably Fergie who's instilled that mentality into me. I'll hold my hands up and say I was probably wrong at that point to completely back Mourinho through the whole Pogba situation. But, I did. And as I said, football is a game of opinions. And opinions will change over time. And my opinion of Pogba has certainly changed over the last 3, 4, 5 months in a positive way, in a really, really good way. And the Pogba I'm seeing right now is a Pogba I want to stay at United. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know what your reaction is to this interview. I think it's great to see Pogba finally speak about this Mourinho situation. He might not be revealing everything, but you can see, just as I said, from those little looks, those little laughs, those little smiles, how much he revelled in that 3-1 win against Mourinho. And why, and that was probably fuel to his performance, because against Spurs, he was on a different level. And for him to have served that revenge up on a cold plate to Mourinho would have been a special moment for him. And you can clearly see it in that interview. But to see a happy Pogba playing like he's playing for United, he is one of the world's best midfielders. And a midfielder who deserves to have a midfield built around him. Him and Bruno Fernandes with that dominant defensive mid. Ooh, yes, please. But Pogba's clearly enjoying his relationship with Solskjaer and the different style of management in the same way that Luke Shaw is. It didn't work for him under Mourinho, not for the length of time where Mourinho was here, but that's what happens at Mourinho. It either works or it blows up in your face. And it blew up in Mourinho's face, it blew up in Pogba's face, it blew up in everyone's face. But Pogba now is happy. This interview I really like it. Some people might not, but I want more of it. And there's actually an extended version. So make sure, I'll leave the link in the description actually to the interview over on Sky Sports YouTube channel. And I think there's going to be an extended version on Super Sunday before the game against Burnley, if I'm correct. So make sure you watch that. But let me know what your reaction is to that interview. I'll be interested to see what Mourinho says about this interview. And I'm sure he will. But, sorry, Jose, I think your time as an elite level manager is behind you. But Paul Pogba's time as an elite level footballer, he's in the middle of it. And hopefully next year, you can see him lifting the Premier League or the Champions League as a United player. Yeah, I'm dreaming, but why not? Let me know what your reaction is in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe to United People's TV if you're new. Until next time, take it easy.